After 15 years of the show, I wonder, are you learning from your fellow sharks and from the contestants who come? Because you talk about in Power Shift, there's three things that help power, right? You talk about nurturing relationships, you talk about influence, and you talk about the last one was influence. And
Yeah.
so the influence is obviously the people around you. So I wonder what that relationship's like as you continuously be on the show, negotiating. We can see that happening.
Yeah.
But the nurturing, because yes, there's competitiveness from your counterparts on the show, but also the relationship that you're going into business with people with. How do you navigate through that?
Man, I'm learning from everybody. I mean, even if it's a mistake, I'm learning. But I'm really learning from everybody. A lot of people say, Damien, you're the snake in the grass. You're so quiet on the show. No, I'm just not that bright. So I'm sitting there, I'm listening to something. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get into that. Oof, I'll just wait till my shot. You know what I'm saying? Like double dutch. Yeah, I'm going to rock this way. Oh, I'm about to put a bit in. And Robert says some crazy shit, and I'd be like, oh, yeah. And for that reason, I'm out. So I'm learning from everybody. You know what I'm saying? And then these people are coming on, they're coming on solving problems that are so simple, so complicated. You're learning. You know what I learned the other day?
I'm listening.
You like natural vanilla extract? You like the thing of vanilla. You know what natural vanilla extract is? It's the juice that comes out of a beaver's asshole. How you thinking about some soft serve right now? I got it. But now, it's the glands in a beaver's asshole.
It's not vanilla from a vanilla tree?
No, it's vanilla.
Not a vanilla bean.
Vanilla bean?
It's natural vanilla extract is the glands. They excrete something from a beaver's ass.
Learn something new every day.
I'm out.
You see how much I learned?
That's crazy.
Isn't it nuts? I learned all these things from the show. I learned so much from the show. Now, that's pretty disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty, yeah.
I hate these quiet moments.
Well, there you have it. So let's switch topics. Let's talk about literature. So you have a children's book.
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
so
man.
What made you want to become an author in that realm?
Thank you. Is learning about your staff. My staff said it. I said, "What are you talking about?" And they were like, "Well, Damien, I thank God I have many top selling books, but these books are thick, right? And I don't like writing them necessarily. I write them because I every time I hear somebody have a problem, I write it down and go, okay, well, go to Tim Ferriss, go to Tony Robbins, go check out my book, whatever. Okay, if I don't have an answer for it, I write it, and then after about 2 years, I go, wow, this book needs to be written. But what I realized is we in this country, you see, Mark Cuban, as you all know, are taking on this a very big challenge of breaking this pharmaceutical challenge, right, and giving giving access to drugs at affordable prices, and he's got a big challenge ahead of him. But it's called Cost Plus Drugs. It's the stupidest name I've ever heard, because when people say cost plus. Doesn't that sound like a lot? Okay, so as a business person, what cost is at cost, meaning it is wholesale, plus he puts a little 10% on. So if the pill is $100, he buys the pill for $5 and maybe puts a little bit on for his staff and sells it $2 and sells it at $7. That's what it really is, and he's changing the world with it. I have a bigger issue that's easier to solve. This country, we never had financial intelligence. We're going off a very old school system. 80 years ago, this is the same school system. We were at war and we were teaching people how to build ships, being great employees, and it was a great time. That's why they have shop and all those other various things. But we were never taught financial intelligence. We can be taught anything else in school. And especially as African Americans, we don't come from legacy wealth. So we probably don't have a grandfather, grandmother, or whatever the case is to teach us this. And the stat is that a kid graduating college today, 50% of them will retire with a job title that doesn't exist today. It's like telling somebody 20 years ago, well, you were going to be a social media expert, a professional gamer, or a pay-per-click expert, or whatever the case is, an AI expert. So if you don't have any financial intelligence and you're not taught it at the age of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the same way you taught a sport, the same way you taught an instrument, Well, then at 17 years old, you can acquire $700,000 worth of student debt for a career you're not even certain you want to have that you won't pay off until you're in your 50s. When you don't have finance and money, well, what happens? Domestic violence rises. If you don't have money and you don't know how financial intelligence works, well, if you don't have access to a job, well, somebody will say, I don't care if you have access to a job. I'll give you $100, I'll give you $500. Stand on this corner, wear this color, right? You can't eat healthy. Eating healthy is expensive. So what's the most profitable things in this country to sell? They're made out of butter, sugar, and salt. Now, all of a sudden, you have health issues.
High blood pressure.
You have health issues and you're not even covered. The root of what's going on in this country is our children are not taught financial intelligence. And I have 150 teachers that are my advisors, and they don't have financial intelligence because they were never taught it. They will tell you everything about social studies, everything about math, everything about science, but they weren't taught it because, again, all right, so when you taught it? At 19 years old, if you take accounting, well, you go to war and they put you on a battleship and they teach you how to swim when you're in the middle of the ocean. You're supposed to, learn this stuff earlier on. And that's why I want to break this system. And this is what I'm going to go to my grave with, by breaking this system. That's not a conspiracy. It's just we have to think about it. So if we learn at the earlier age how to operate money, it's very simple how to operate money. $3, 3 million, 3 billion come in. $3 comes in. The first dollar goes for what you have to pay for your rent or medicine or whatever the case is. The second goes for an investment, whether in a public company or your education, but not a loan, what you have right there. And the third goes for what you would like to have but don't have to have. If you don't spend all number 3, you put it into number 2, right? Number 2 eventually overflows into 1 and 3. But as hardworking Americans, what do? We go and do number 3 first because we want to treat ourselves. We worked really hard. We never get to number 2, and then we pay 18% credit card on number 1. We corrode it from the bottom. If you just put away $100, if you just say automatic debit $100 every single month out of your check for when you're 18 up to 60, that's a $4 million, right? What about long-term care? Long-term care, if you're listening to me right now, if you are, we're going to take care of our parents 2 times longer than they took care of us. If you are right now 30 or 50, under 50 years old, you could probably get a long-term care policy at probably maybe $50 a month. Because by the time you're 60, 70 years old, God forbid you have dementia and all these other things that are growing and you have to get long-term care. It costs an average of, or you or your parent, it costs an average of $20,000 a month to get a decent amount of long-term care. So imagine if you had $3 million in the bank and both your parents have to go or your aunt or whoever has to go into long-term care for 3 years. Your money's gone. This is all about having financial intelligence. And those long-term care policies could be annuities.